Hey Zed, this is a workout I did in mid-March, way before COVID, and I really wanted to show it to you before showing you anything about my rebuild and how I'm going to get back my muscle and strength. So this is a workout that I did to really focus on my arm development. I was running a nucleus overload cycle, and I really wanted them to be about 17 inches or 43 centimeters. So I began with some heavy press. You can see my grip width is pretty close, pretty medium. I am actually going to try to get to 2 plate for volume work on the overhead shoulder press. This was 60-degree incline to get less strain on the shoulder. I was training that with some weight and chin up. So as you can see, I'm doing a neutral grip, and I'm doing much more volume than the barbell press. I believe that you are supposed to do much more volume for your back, your hamstring, your glutes, and your biceps, and your chest, triceps, and quadriceps. I really want to get strong for the arm on this one to improve them. So that's why I'm staying so upright and just doing some elbow flexion work. There is not much back work. After that, I always do my face pull. I like them with a bend to really focus the traps, rhomboid, the external rotators, the rear delt. It's really nice for the shoulder health, especially when you are pressing so much and heavy weight. This is key also for posture, so don't skip them. They are really key, even if you are not really strong or really focused on bodybuilding. Afterward, I did some fat grip chin up, same grip, which is neutral grip, but fat grip. So yeah, really much harder, especially for higher set rep. For me, 6 to 10 rep is really high in the rep. I much prefer the 5 to 6, and they are really hard for your forearm. Really, so I'm going to develop them than like no other. The moment I tried to do some fat grip chin up, I immediately added half an inch to my arm. So yeah, I trained them with some BTN press. So I'm doing real lightweight. First, because I have a second exercise, so I can be as strong as usual on them, and second, because I had some kind of muscle cramp in my upper back a few days before the shooting of this video. And BTN press is one of the exercises I was pretty limited. So it's like when you are trying to get the barbell down, there is something who won't let your scapulae move back and down properly. It's like you feel something is squashed between your shoulder blade, and it isn't at all comfortable. So yeah, I still like the movement, even if it is partial rep. That's why I did sneak a bit more volume with a raise pose. I believe raise pose is a great technique, especially for advanced lifter, to get more quality reps and with a good working set weight. So here you go. And again, I don't believe BTN press are something which is dangerous for your shoulder. You need to have mobility, the stability for sure, but they are more like something that will keep you from having shoulder problem, because if you have the ability to do them, your shoulder won't be injured by much else. So yeah, after all that, I'm moving more on the chest and back portion of the workout. So for the back, I just did a bit of more row, since I did a fair share of weighted chin up before. As you can already see, I'm doing it with a machine, and I'm doing it like I saw Dan Trudel do, which is to do them by being still standing, but just stabilizing yourself on the bench, on the seat, and then keeping your balance with your other arm, with your non-working arm. This way you have way much more range of motion for your lats, so there is more stretch, but you still have the stability benefit of a machine. This is like a dumbbell row, but on the machine. And I change that with some flat bench, but with elbows in. This way, even if there are just a tiny bit of chest work, the most work is done by the triceps. This is basically doing just flexing and extending the elbow to put the brunt of the work on the arm and thus the triceps. For me, this is one of the best exercises when you have sensitive shoulder, just like mine, who can't do flat bench on a barbell or a decline barbell. So yeah, and with 100 pounds. After that, I move on to the real person workout dedicated to the arm. So really high volume, basically 10 by 10 for biceps and triceps. I begin with some concentration curl. I believe they are way more underrated than they are supposed to be. They are really great exercise because you are keeping your arm still against your thigh. This is basically a poor man preacher curl in a sense. And with the angle you are able to really squeeze hard the biceps, but also recruit the brachial under the biceps. We will help the peak of the biceps, and because there is absolutely no tension at the bottom, you won't be much at risk for tearing your biceps, since the moment you are at risk and at your weakest there is a loss of tension. So I don't really see how you could explode your biceps with this exercise. You could be using too much weight, but that's another problem. During my rest of those set curl, I was doing some dumbbell pullover triceps, or dumbbell triceps pullover. This is basically doing a pullover with a dumbbell, but instead of putting all the work on your lat and or your chest, you're putting a bit more elbow flexion and a bit more elbow movement during the exercise. This way you are putting much more emphasis on the long head of the triceps, and you aren't trashing so much your elbow. So I'm not doing that heavy. 52 kilo isn't much for me on this exercise, but I'm diving up the volume. So yeah, I really like this exercise. This is one of my pet exercises for the whole upper body. After all this is done, I'm moving on to hammer curl, concentration curl, and after all the volume are already done, I'm pretty shot. My brachial are really weak in that kind of position. For hammer curl standing or cheated, I'm pretty good, pretty decent, but on these ones it's really hard since you can't move your elbow. Again, this is something that is great about concentration curl, is that you can get more out of less weight and minimize cheating and any impairment because of your position, because you just can't cheat. So for me, was weak arm, or at least want them to be even bigger, this is a great exercise, just like preacher curl. Now moving on to more of the stretcher part of a workout. I believe after you have pumped a muscle pretty good, you're supposed to stretch it a bit afterward. I move on to the overhead dumbbell cable tricep extension. So again, great for the elbow because there is not much strain since it's a cable. You can choose the angle of resistance by bending more or less over, and by angling your elbow alignment next to your body. So yeah, really a great exercise to keep your elbow nice and healthy. And after all of this, I finish with some calf rise for the shoulder. So this is for both rear delt and lateral delt. This is one of my pet exercises. I discovered it recently and began to do some circuit with it, but this is actually a great standalone exercise by himself. You're just to use a cuff, which isn't something available for everyone, but a handle will do just fine. The benefit of the cuff is just that you will have no strain in the forearm, and you won't be depending on your grip. You're just moving your arm up and down, and you can really focus everything on your delt. I really have good delt. I know I am pretty blessed with them, but this exercise is making them grow to the next level. So I'm really happy to be able to do them. And yeah, really nice for the external rotator. Again, you don't want to pinch your shoulder joint. And to finish, I just did a bit of reverse lunges in the Smith machine to smash the legs. I'm really more focused on glutes development with my legs now, also calves, and I don't want to trash my knees, so this is again why I do them in the Smith machine and reverse style. Front lunges trash my knee, and I am not feeling much more my quads than this one. So yeah, with this one I'm just essentially blasting everything, but with a glute focus. So yeah, one of my best exercise and pet exercise. And that was it for this full body video. Take care, bye.